guys, it's me. So today's video, I'm just gonna like get right into it. It's gonna be different, definitely, than anything else that we've put out. Also, I'm feeling a little bit like, I don't know, not sick, but like I think my allergies are just really bad. And I'll kind of like get into that. But so if you see me drinking tea, that's what I'm doing. I don't even know if you guys can hear me. So, okay. Let me just kind of like get into life, and I just kind of want this to be like a check-in. I just want to like talk candidly about mental health, and like with the holidays coming up, and just some like also personal stuff that I'm going through that I just kind of want to share with you guys. So first up, I just wanted to say that I have been like really struggling lately, and it has nothing to do with the holidays. I'm actually like really pumped on the holidays this year. I'm like very excited for Christmas. We've like pulled out all of our Christmas decorations and all of that, so like really looking forward to decorating. Hold on one second. I may have just burned myself a little bit, but that's okay. All right. So like probably a few weeks ago, and you guys probably haven't noticed as much because I've still been putting out older videos, but now we're back to kind of filming in real time. I just like have been feeling very down and depressed, and I know that seasonal depression is very common for people. It's just not something that I've ever experienced before, and so I was kind of like iffy on if that's what it was or if it was something else. And then I've also had like a lot of health stuff going on that we've been trying to get to the bottom of. Long story short, I don't think it has anything to do with like a season change or anything. And yes, it has been rainy here and I haven't been in the sun as much, but we have big windows. Like, I don't know, I just feel like it, personally, I feel like I'm happier in the winter. It's like reverse, just because I hate the heat and like I hate the sun. So but anyway, I think what it came down to was, if you remember back in July, I was supposed to have surgery, and then that didn't happen because basically just like my lungs stopped working and we weren't really sure why. So they ended up pulling me out of surgery, and then I don't think I've really talked much about it on here, but there's been a lot going on behind the scenes. So to start, I think we may have finally figured out the reason that happened in surgery, but it has been a long road over the past few weeks to get there. So my first stop was a pulmonologist. Obviously, I had some short-term lung damage, but it should heal, and it has gotten better, I would say, over the last, few months. He cleared me for surgery. He put me on, like, before surgery, a week before surgery, I will be on a steroid pack. And then I also have 2 inhalers now, and I've been checked for sleep apnea. And so I get the results back for the sleep apnea test in December when I go in. But like my chest x-ray was clear. Everything looks good now. So cleared by pulmonologist, yay. So then the next step was, could it have been an allergic reaction to an anesthetic or something that they accidentally gave me, even though I've told them I'm allergic, or something that I could have grown into an allergy. The last time I had surgery was like the last time I was under anesthetic, I think was like 2016, 17, somewhere in there. So it's been a while, and I do have like severe allergies. So anyway, we went to the allergist. I have a test coming up for environmental allergies, and then also like anesthetic medication allergies. So both of those tests are scheduled and coming up soon. The thing about that is that I can't take my anxiety medication, which is hydroxyzine, because that is an antihistamine and it will interfere with the test, and we really, really need an accurate reading on this test. because it would be putting me in danger if we didn't know that I was allergic to that, and then I went back under. So I've been having more anxiety, like more panic attacks in the morning. And then we realized that my TSH, my thyroid level, as you guys know, I have Hashimoto's disease. It's hypothyroidism. My thyroid is basically non-functioning at this point. The damage is like very severe. It's progressed very quickly. I've had it since I was young. You know, I was diagnosed very young. And so my last TSH was in the mid to high 70s, which is way not normal. I was taking 175 micrograms of levothyroxine at the time, and my doctor decided that we should almost double it and go up to 300 micrograms of levothyroxine. So that is where the depression starts. Hold on, pause again. That's good. Okay, so after starting this 300 micrograms, I noticed that I mean, if you guys have experienced depression, you will probably understand, but it truly felt like the life, the joy, the soul was just sucked out of me. And in the past, I've like had very extreme depression, and this wasn't quite that. It wasn't like I wasn't so sad that I wanted to die or any, you know, it wasn't like I was crying all the time or things that I've experienced in the past. It was more just this like loss of motivation, loss of energy, like no desire to eat. Food didn't taste, you know, the same to me. Like there was just, it just felt like there wasn't a lot of joy in anything, and I was just really struggling to go through the motions of our everyday routine, and I was just struggling a lot. When I forgot to take it for a few days on accident, and I noticed pretty quickly I was starting to feel like me again. Now the unfortunate thing about this is that we've tested it, and it is definitely my thyroid medication that is bringing the depression on. What do we do about that, right? Like, I have Hashimoto's disease, as I said. I cannot live for very long without my medication, and it's not as severe as like a diabetic or something that like it would happen very quickly for them. It would take probably, you know, a few years for it to get to the point that I need to be really concerned about like heart health and things like that, and slipping into comas and heart attacks, and like that is the level of like intensity that it will get to at some point if it's left untreated. So we were kind of wondering about that, like why wasn't my thyroid medication working so well, but we increased the dose anyway, and now it's caused depression. Anyway, so now that we've kind of, you know, like, I don't know, I just feel really stuck with that. So I decided to call my psychiatrist and ask her like, hey, is there anything that you can do in the meantime of me figuring this out with my endocrinologist? Like a medication you can give me, or an increase on a medication that I'm already taking that could kind of just help combat this like medication depression. And so she and I were talking, and unfortunately came to the conclusion that there's basically nothing that she can do, because she can give me medication which may help to cover up some of the symptoms, but then we're not going to be able to get down to why is the thyroid medication causing depression if we try something else. Like, we just won't know, because it will be kind of masking, right, the symptoms. And I can't mask the symptoms forever. I need to figure out a solution that works long term, because levothyroxine is a medication that I will be on for the rest of my life. There is not a day where I won't need it ever in the future. So I felt really hopeless after that conversation with her, to be honest with you. I hung up the phone and like immediately just started crying, because I felt like for a long time that I was really holding on to that appointment that I had, and I had even moved it up sooner than the one that I originally had, because I I just really felt like, okay, there's going to be something she can do for just, you know, temporarily to bring me out of this funk. And long story short, yeah, like I said, there's just nothing. So I was kind of a wreck after that for like probably the rest of the day. I just felt really defeated and frustrated, and not like with doctors or anything like that. It was just kind of like frustrated by my own body. And I don't know if you guys have autoimmune diseases or any other chronic health problems. It can be frustrating when you feel like there are no solutions and you're just trudging through dealing with the symptoms instead of actually getting to live like a full and healthy life. So that was kind of where I was at for a few days. And then, because we're waiting on the allergy tests, we decided to go to a gastro doctor. I've had stomach problems since I was very young. I was like colicky as a baby. I've had like severe stomach pain since 2011. And it was like really severe. It's actually gotten better as I've gotten older, but when I was a teenager, it would be so bad that I could like barely eat for weeks at a time, and I would be just like lying on the floor writhing, crying. And I've had every test under the sun at least 2 times, and they just have not been able to really figure out what it was. So that kind of led us to the gastro doctor. My mom thought possibly that one of the residents had intubated me into my stomach the first time on accident, and I had like had reflux. So we just wanted to like check out if that was a possibility. So we went into this doctor, and I kind of went in thinking like, oh, there's not going to really be anything they can do to help. Like, I really don't think that that was the issue. I think it was, you know, just kind of some freak thing. I don't know, honestly. Hold on. But it turns out that was the answer, we think. We're 99.9% sure. We were looking at a chart that I had from 2012, I believe. I was home from boarding school, in between places, and I had had an endoscopy done to figure out what this pain was. Now, mind you, it was like a 12-hour fast, but I hadn't eaten in like probably 14 to 15 hours because it was kind of in the afternoon and I had gone to bed earlier the night before. And so I should have been completely empty. So they went in, they put the camera down my throat, and immediately all they could see was food in my stomach. And so they had to pull out. So basically, when they do an endoscopy, they're going in to look, they're going in to maybe take a biopsy, see if they can see anything internally that could be causing these problems. But when your stomach is filled with food, they obviously can't see anything. That's why they ask you to fast for 12 hours. I had to go back to boarding school 2 days later. And so I think it was just kind of forgotten about, to be honest with you. I ended up graduating high school and then getting into college, and lots happened from there, right? And so now 14 years later, we're like looking at this result, and she's like, you know, the fact that there is no result because of the food is the result. And so basically, we have realized now that my stomach just doesn't empty. And so I actually have to go and take what's called a gastric emptying study, and I have to eat radioactive food apparently, and then they like trace it through my body and see how long it takes to leave. So the thing about that is that it kind of explains everything. So I hadn't eaten in probably, again, 14, 15 hours before this last surgery. But if my stomach isn't empty after 15 hours, then I basically didn't fast at all. And so what we think is that I had some reflux. It got up, it irritated my esophagus and the lining, and I had this bad reaction. At that point, the cells inside of my lungs were filled with mucus, and that's kind of how they stayed for the next 2 months, to be honest with you. I was really struggling there for a bit, but long story short, we think that's what happened. And so in that case, it is basically like I would need to take this gastric emptying test to see really how long does it take, and then be fasting, or at least only on clear liquids for that time period before surgery. And as long as I don't fail my anesthetic allergy test, then we're gonna assume that it is what it is, right? I'm getting my words jumbled here, but the thing about that is, so now I have to have another endoscopy so they can actually see what it looks like empty. This is separate from the eating radioactive food. So I have that scheduled for the day before Thanksgiving. I have to be on clear liquids for 24 hours. If I'm not empty by 24 hours, I swear to God, you guys, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll have to have another one and be fasting for longer. Hopefully we can get answers from that, and then I'll just be really freaking starving for Thanksgiving. But the thing is, I can't have that endoscopy until I know if I pass the lidocaine test, because obviously they can't put me under if I'm allergic. I also recently got my new medical ID bracelet in the mail because I have really severe allergies to morphine and tramadol, as well as obviously being like thyroid fucked. Anyway, so that's what's been going on with me, and I think I'm just like frustrated and tired, and you can tell I'm like perky. I haven't been taking my thyroid medication, and for right now, that's what I'm gonna do, because yes, it will spike my TSH, which can cause health problems, but I would rather be happy and able to figure out all of this other stuff so I can be set up for a successful surgery, which will help with headaches and pain and take care of like a huge chunk of problems, and then I can kind of focus on that. I have an endocrine appointment on the 28th of December, so I'm just kind of like in limbo until then, until I see her. And you know, I'll just take it less than I should be, but it should still help to like, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. Just means that my immune system won't be so great, which it already isn't, so whatever. But yeah, so I just wanted to get into that with you guys and kind of explain what's going on and why we haven't been like as present online. It's just been a lot. To recap, thyroid has been off, and that could be due to the fact that my stomach isn't empty when I take it in the morning like it should be. I forgot to mention that, but there you go. The new thyroid medication was causing depression. Nothing we can do about that, unfortunately. So I just haven't been taking it as often. We think gastro and my stomach emptying issue is the reason that everything happened in surgery. Getting sleep apnea test results back soon. Have 2 allergy tests coming up, an endoscopy coming up, a gastric emptying study coming up. And then hopefully we can get approved from everyone and get scheduled for surgery sometime early in 2024. Get my TMJ replaced and call it a day, right? But for you guys who are struggling, I know the holidays can be a particularly hard time, especially sometimes for LGBTQ plus community because of, you know, family issues and stuff. But I just want to let you guys know that if you are struggling, like, there are people to reach out to. Personally, if you ever want to like DM me or anything, like, I'm here and available to talk to you guys. I'm not an expert, but I do deal with my own set of mental illness issues, and have kind of been through the ringer on that. I've been on like almost every medication. I've been in therapy for more of my life than I haven't been. And I just maybe could offer some advice, but other than that, you know, I can put the National Suicide Awareness hotline right here, and remember that they are always there to answer the phone. You are never a burden to anyone, and we are all happy to have you here, and we love you so, so much. Have a happy holidays. See you guys for Vlogmas.